Make-A-Wish Foundation is under fire after an edited video of their CEO went viral over the weekend, during which he announced they would not be granting wishes to any children who aren't fully vaccinated.
CEO of Make-A-Wish America. And over the past year, we spent each day at Make-A-Wish preparing for the moment when every possible wish could safely move forward. We've approached this responsibility with a focus and diligence for your family's health and safety. Now, we've consulted with doctors and medical professionals throughout the National Medical Advisory Council, and we've been monitoring public health organizations like the CDC and the American Academy of Pediatrics. And based on their collective guidance, today we're making a big step forward in delivering hope to you, our Wish kids, and our Wish families. I'm excited to share that Make-A-Wish will resume granting air travel wishes within the United States and its territories, as well as granting wishes involving large gatherings for vaccinated Wish families as soon as September 15th of 2021. All Wish participants, including your Wish kid and any siblings, will need to be 2 weeks past completion of either a 1-dose or a 2-dose vaccine. While we won't ask for proof of vaccination, we'll ask for any adult participant to sign a letter of understanding that certifies that they and any minors participating in the Wish are vaccinated and understand the risks of traveling at this time.
After major backlash from donors, celebrities, and the public, Make-A-Wish is disputing the video, calling it misinformation that was taken out of context. The foundation released a statement saying children aren't in fact still eligible for wishes despite their vaccination status. Joining me now, co-founder and chief strategist at GDP Advisors, Seth Denson. Seth, thank you so much for joining me. So Seth, a lot going on here, but when I originally had heard the story, it was that children who weren't vaccinated didn't get their last wish, and my blood was boiling. I was like, that's not fair, these poor kids. And also, you have to keep in mind that the vaccine, not FDA approved, not really studied in children, and then especially also for sick children, if their doctors aren't recommending the vaccine for them, why would the Make-A-Wish Foundation want to push that?
Well, Stephanie, sounds like you did more research than maybe they did before the original statement. And I think this is one of those things, listen, let's be very clear. Make-A-Wish Foundation, fantastic organization. They do a great work. I've known personally people that have benefited from them. But this is just a momentary, we'll call it tone-deaf moment. And while they came out and said they wanted to clarify the position, it was more like that they were retreating over the hills as fast as possible because the court of public opinion took care of this. And this is one of those times where the court of public opinion was actually a good thing. And certainly they're backtracking today and saying, no, we're going to grant wishes to kids that need them, and hopefully they'll start doing that very quickly.
Yeah, hopefully so. So I'm glad that they corrected it, and as you said, it was a little bit tone deaf, especially because those decisions need to be made with doctors and families, not people from the outside. I wanted to ask you about this. There's been a big debate over whether or not people should be returning to work or not. Employers would like to see some of their employees come back to work. A lot of people I know who've been working from home don't really want to go back to the office. So that being said, what do you think the future of working from home looks like? Do you think it's going to continue? Do you think employers are going to force their employees to come back to work? And then also on top of that, you have to add some employers are forcing their employees to get the vaccine. So maybe people would want to stay home if they didn't want to get the vaccine for some reason.
Yeah, man, this is kind of some rocky waters of trying to figure it all out. And what I would tell employers, even the ones that we advise here at GDP, is you got to look at each case independently, and you have to look at your own employee population and try to determine what's in the best fit for your organization and your employees. I mean, for us as an example, we originally extended the option of coming back to work. Now we're in Texas, and so a little bit of a different climate, but nonetheless, all of our employees jumped at the opportunity to come back. They weren't forced to do it. They wanted to do it. And I think a lot of employers are going to have to look at where they are, what their employees ultimately want. We'll probably see a lot of hybrid models where employers are saying, hey, there is the ability to be productive at home or at the office. For our staff independently, I mean, they wanted to collaborate with one another, and that's a fantastic thing, and certainly something I was glad to get back into the swing of things and have them back here.
Yeah, I read an article here from the Wall Street Journal that said that UBS Group will allow 2/3 of its staff to mix working from home and the office. So it depends on the employee. They'll let them decide. And I think that's probably maybe like a good combination. I'm not against people working from home. I do a lot of work from home, and that's fine. But I know that some people take advantage of working from home and don't get maybe as much stuff as they would get done in the office. But you could also say the opposite too. Sometimes offices are very distracting.
Well, listen, and UBS, listen, this is a very successful organization. They analyzed 70,000 employees on this study in over 50 countries. And for them, they made the determination that for their organization, productivity wouldn't be lost if they offered this and extended this. And employers coming out of this pandemic, I think, are going to have to find new ways to attract talent. And one of those ways isn't the old way of just saying, here's our thumb and we're going to stick it on you. We're going to have to be more open to what especially Gen Zers, millennials, and are going to want in their work environment.
Yeah. So what do you think overall? Do you think people are pretty effective working from home?
I think most, or many are, I should say, and I think a lot of it depends on the work that you're doing. For me, I work from home early in the morning before I get to the office, and I probably get more done in the 2 hours, between 4:30 and 6:30 than I do once I get to the office. But that's because now I'm opening my mind up to be collaborative with others. But nonetheless, I think it's on a case-by-case basis.
Definitely. I wanted to ask you about this. So millions of homeowners who are behind on their mortgages, apparently there could be relief for them. There could be extended protections from foreclosure through the end of 2021. But then what happens after that? I'm not trying to be negative, but like if you can't pay your bills now, I kind of have a feeling that like things are still not going to look good in 2021 if they continue to extend this. That is, it's kind of like kicking the can down the road. And then also what happens to those who own the homes or the buildings and everything else?
Yeah, this is a big problem when this program first was launched and a lack of clarity of what it really meant and people's understanding of it. People thought forbearance meant forgiveness. And there's a difference. Forbearance just meant, hey, that's all going to get tacked onto the back end. It's not going anywhere. To your point, we're just kicking that can down the road. And my fear is that people still don't understand that they think that this program is going to mean they don't have to pay their bill. And it doesn't. It means the bill's going to come in on the back end. And so, listen, my fear is that we will see a lot of foreclosures, but my encouragement to your viewers and to anybody that's going through this is most banks anyway, want to work with you. They don't want to foreclose. There's a big process involved in that. So my hope is that people will recognize that they have a responsibility, but part of that responsibility is reaching out to your lenders, to your landlords, to your banks, and trying to work with them. Most of them want to work with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing markets are continuing to climb, but with volatility. And obviously, as America begins to reopen, things are going to look a lot better. That being said, what can we expect?
Well, yeah, so the S&P up significantly already this year. Projections are that's going to be up 35 points by the end of the year. I think a lot of that, though, Stephanie, is because the market has become a political football. And investors, by and large, understand that, and as such, know that whoever's in power is not going to let it fall because that would be political suicide. And so that's a problem, though. I mean, listen, gravity is real, and what goes up must come down. And right now, while short-term, there's some good to be had there long term. That market's going to come back down. And I hope that investing becomes investing on fundamentals, not gambling like we see a lot happening right now in the market.
Yeah. And then the Feds may slow bond buying. How would that impact people?
Well, that's going to impact people because right now, I mean, listen, with the interest rates where they are, the Fed is effectively infusing cash into the market. Bonds are available for businesses to go out and extend them. The Fed's going to buy them. It's going to allow them to continue to grow. But I will tell you, companies are utilizing this a lot of times to do AI to get more streamlined on the recognition that we may have wage increases coming under the Biden administration. So if you're out there and you're living on unemployment right now, you need to get on the train of employment now before that train leaves the station, because businesses are trying to figure out how to operate without you. And as soon as the Fed starts pulling back on expanding and infusing cash into the market, businesses are going to find a way to streamline more effectively.
And businesses have already been, many of them have already been forced to raise wages just to recruit some workers as we begin to reopen. And I have a feeling more people are going to be going back to work soon as they continue to eliminate the extra federal money because businesses were competing against the federal government. And now that the vaccine's available, so eventually people will start going back to work, hopefully.
Yep. 23 states have gotten on board.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Seth, we're going to leave it here. Thank you.
Thanks, Steph.
Of course.